Well, staying on the Trump campaign, multiple sources tell CNN that the FBI believes hackers breached the campaign in a cyber attack via Roger Stone's personal email account. The FBI is also looking into the claim by the Trump campaign that Iran is responsible for the hack. We should note the FBI has, it seems, detected attempts to hack the Harris campaign as well. To discuss this and the overall threats to our elections from foreign adversaries, I want to bring in David Salvo. He's the managing director for the Alliance for Security and Democracy and Malign Autocratic Influence. All this at the German Marshall Fund. Good to have you on. It's important work you do.
Good to see you, Jim. Thanks.
So interesting for me as I followed this latest attempt, because it reminded me of 2016 Russia.
Sure.
And a simple thing is spear phishing. Send an email from a fake account, and if you click on the wrong link, they are in your system. It happened to John Podesta in 2016, opened up all the Clinton information, and now you have this. It appears to be Roger Stone. What does that show you if someone like Iran, if it does indeed turn out to be Iran, that they're still using such kind of blunt tools?
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's low cost. There's presumably plausible deniability. I mean, I think it's obvious that we're going to be able to trace this back to a nation state actor, but let's let the investigation take its course. But from Tehran's perspective, this is the cheapest tool in the toolbox, and it's easy to try to get embarrassing, potentially denigrating information. This happened in 2016, as you said, with the Hillary Clinton campaign. It could have happened again. Fortunately, newsrooms haven't reported on the content. That's important.
That's important. I wanted to get to that right now because folks don't talk about this enough. In 2016, all of us took part in a Russian disinformation campaign because it was stolen, hacked information, emails, etc. They were the headlines every day for weeks, and arguably had some, we don't know what it is, but arguably at least influenced the conversation about the election. We don't know if it influenced the outcome. This time around, you had a deliberate, it seems, effort not to report the stolen information. How important is that?
Hugely important. This is one of the biggest defenses we have against our adversaries' intentions. I mean, in 2016, we learned the hard way, right?
Yeah.
Mainstream media outlets, sort of writ large, covered leaked material from the WikiLeaks in Russian intelligence operation. That was hugely damaging to the Clinton campaign. This time around, Politico and the New York Times have sat on this content. That's incredibly responsible journalism, frankly. This is a hack and leak operation, likely by a nation-state adversary. We should not be reporting on that content. That's damaging to our democracy.
Is it always clear who a foreign adversary wants to help?
No.
In terms of, because in this case, for instance, it seems they were successful on the Trump side, but also tried on the Harris side.
That's a huge point. The macro goal of these operations, it's often just to destabilize and denigrate our democratic process. I'm sure Iran has a preference in this presidential election, but the fact that it has likely probed both campaigns' infrastructure, that's very telling. These operations are targeted to undermine Americans' confidence in the electoral process, in the campaign process, and to embarrass and denigrate candidates wherever the adversary can find that information.
And a big portion of this, is it not, is just to dive into controversial spaces and throw fuel onto the fire, whatever the divisive issue of the day is.
Absolutely, and we see that in the information domain literally every day. And here it's Russia, it's China, it's Iran. All these nation-state adversaries of ours are on social media. They're creating faux U.S. local news sites, pretending to be authentic American voices, amplifying discord over issues like the Israel-Hamas war, LGBTQ issues, religious and cultural issues. Any sensitive political issue, they're amplifying that discord among Americans.
Is there any evidence of attempts to penetrate actual voting systems by foreign? Because that has been the real concern, right? And it doesn't even have to be across the board. It could just be in a couple of places, create confusion and doubt. Right.
And the answer to that is yes. I mean, some of this information is publicly available. Some voter information, and even Iran did this in the 2020 election cycle when they sent out emails purporting to be Proud Boy representatives. They got that voter information from publicly available sources. But there have been attempts. Russia did this back in 2016 to penetrate actual voting systems, voter rolls online. They did not change any votes. The outcome of the election was not changed by these attempts. But the idea is to give Americans the impression that they can.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like casing the place before you go in. David Salvo, thanks so much. Appreciate it.